Like, I'm not going to sit at dinner with someone and just be like, yeah, I'm not eating, because then people are like, why are you not eating? And then I have to tell them that I'm fasting, and they're like, oh, it's for religious reason. It's like, no, it's not for religious reasons. And then I have to get into this whole thing, and then they're like, oh my God, are you starving yourself? And then it just becomes like this whole thing. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video, and as you can tell by the title, today we're talking about my 1-year journey with ADF. I cannot believe it, but I have now been doing ADF for an entire year, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you about my experience, give you my opinion, tell you my ups, my downs, and my overall thoughts on ADF after a year of being on this journey. My starting weight when I started back in February of 2022 was right around 200 pounds, give and take like 2 pounds. I had gotten to the point where I wasn't weighing myself anymore because I was scared of the number that I would see if I stepped on the scale. So the last time I had officially weighed myself, I was at 198, but I'm sure I had already reached 200 pounds and plus, a few more pounds. But I was at the point where I was really tired of gaining weight. I was tired of starting to work out and then failing, and then starting to do like little things here and there to watch what I was eating and then failing, and not really having any discipline or any strategy of how I was going to do this. If you've watched my channel, then you know that I found ADF kind of on accident. My goal when I started was to do OMAD. Actually, I was going to do OMAD, which is something I had done in the past and I was successful at. So I was going to do OMAD, but when my eating window came on my very first day, I didn't eat because I wasn't hungry. And then I did a second day of OMAD. I didn't eat the second day. I wasn't hungry. But by the third day, like, the hunger was kicking in. So I did an OMAD day that day. And so after 3 days of fasting and then finally like eating on the third day, I started looking into fasting, not just on OMAD, but fasting longer hours throughout the day. And that's when I found ADF. That's when I found Colleen. And that's when I knew that this was going to be my journey. When I first started with ADF, I immediately knew that the every other day fasting schedule was not going to work for me because it wasn't going to work for me. I wanted to have weekends off for me to eat regular. And so I decided right off the bat that I was going to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday fast. And that's kind of what I've stuck to for this entire year that I've been fasting. After those 3 days of fasting, I lost like 5 pounds, and I was like, what? And obviously a lot of that was water weight. It was just my body getting rid of all the water that it was holding on to because of all the food that I was eating. But then after that, my weight loss kind of stabilized a little bit, but I lost 10 pounds the first month. After February, after losing those 10 pounds in that month, my weight, started slowing down, and not slowing down where it was discouraging, but slowing down where it felt like normal, and slowing down enough where I didn't feel like I was doing too much, because that's something that I was afraid of doing, was doing too much and then feeling like I have to give up, or feeling like, dang, I can't wait for this to be over so I can go back to normal. It felt just right for me to fast those 3 days a week and then take off 4 days. So I guess I'll go month to month and then catch you up until present day. So we already covered February. I lost 10 pounds the first month. We went into March. I was losing about a pound a week, so I lost 4 pounds that month. And then we went into April and I got sick. After I got sick in April, I don't know what it was. It wasn't the vid, but it wasn't not the vid. I had a lot of symptoms that were telling me that maybe I had caught it. But then I also didn't test positive, but I was out for a whole month. I literally just was late. I just didn't want to fast anymore. Like, I just wanted food. And obviously for a lot of us, food is a source of comfort. I just wanted to feel comfortable while I battled this mysterious disease. But I ended up feeling better, but I had to take off a whole month from fasting. And by the time I got, my mindset ready to go back into fasting again, I was really afraid that I had gained back a bunch of weight, but surprisingly, I stayed exactly where I was. So that entire month, I was able to maintain my weight loss. Don't know how, because I wasn't eating clean or eating, I wasn't trying to watch what I was eating. I was just eating all the comfort foods that I like. And a lot of the comfort foods that I like are not necessarily healthy. So, but it is what it is. So April, no fasting. Then we go into May. I continue to fast. Then I fasted in June. And then I fasted in July. And at this point, those 3 months from May to July, I had kind of changed my habits of how I fasted, okay? So when I started back in February, I had to have like 5 cups of coffee to get me through the day because I was just not used to the feeling of hunger. Like, I was used to the feeling of hunger because, again, I had done OMAD in the past, but I needed like that energy, the boost of, and then having something to eat on the whole day, like something to keep your mouth busy the whole day. So I would just drink a bunch of coffee. By the time the summer came around, I had radically reduced my coffee intake. I was drinking like maybe like 2 cups of coffee a day, and that's on feast day and fast days. So now we talk about July and August. So at the end of July, it was my birthday, and after I went on vacation, I come back from my vacation and I stopped fasting. And I took off 2 whole months from fasting. And of course, if I'm not fasting, I am either maintaining my weight loss or I'm gaining weight. And this time around, I started gaining weight. So at that point, I had lost 35 pounds and I was documenting here on YouTube, and then I gained back 10. So now my total weight loss had gone from all the way from 35 pounds to just 25 pounds. That was devastating and it sucked really bad. But at the beginning of October, I was like, all right, this has to stop. I have to start fasting again. I can't lose sight of my goals. And it's not like fasting is like this horrible thing that I dread every day. I feel pretty comfortable when I fast. And so I got right back into it. And since October, we're now again in February, and I've been fasting pretty much consistently since then. And I made videos and I made content here on YouTube about how I was able to maneuver the holidays, because everyone worries about the holidays when it comes to weight loss, because that's a time to be like, you know, that you are celebrating, and celebrations typically involve food. But I was able to keep my fast pretty consistent, and I recently just hit my 45-pound weight loss, which has been insane. So yeah, in all, I have lost 45 pounds in a year of doing ADF. So I don't remember exactly when I hit my 45-pound weight loss. I'll put it here somewhere on the screen, but I have stayed pretty stagnant since I hit that goal. And the reason for that is because I've had some personal changes since the beginning of the year. I've had things change in my personal life where I'm just not really I'm being a little extra on my feast days, and I'm turning some of my fast days into OMAD days, just because like I have social things to do. And whenever I have social things, I'm not the kind of person who will fast when I'm going out to eat. Like, that's just not a thing. I'm not doing that. If I'm going out to eat with someone, or if I'm going out for an occasion and it happens to be on one of my fast days, it becomes an OMAD day. Like, I'm not gonna sit at dinner with someone and just be like, yeah, I'm not eating, because then people are like, why are you not eating? And then I have to tell them that I'm fasting, and they're like, oh, it's for religious reason. It's like, no, it's not for religious reasons. And then I have to get into this whole thing, and then they're like, oh my God, are you starving yourself? And then it just becomes like this whole thing. Okay. And I'd rather just not do that. I'd rather just make that day an OMAD day. But obviously, if you take your body out of fasting, things are not going to move as quickly as they typically have. So I think all in all, in February, I haven't lost any weight at all. Like, since maybe like mid-January to now, which is mid-February, my weight has pretty much stayed at 155, and I haven't really lost any more weight. However, I would rather have just stagnancy than start gaining weight again. That is my that is not we don't want that over here. So it hasn't been great the last like month-ish, but I haven't really gained any weight. I'm maintaining my weight loss, and I'm happy about that. And that's one thing about ADF that I'm so grateful for, is the fact that even if you're not, like, I feel like with other diet plans or other ways of eating, if you veer sideways a little bit and you kind of deviate away from your goal just a tiny little bit, the weight comes back on. With ADF, even if I turn some of my fast days to OMAD days, I haven't gained any weight. So that keeps me going, and that keeps me motivated to keep going on my journey. All in all, I've been doing ADF for a year. I have not done it consistently. I've taken breaks. I have taken time off from fasting, but I've fasted majority of the year. I have loved the whole process. I have no qualms with ADF. I love the flexibility of eating what I want. Again, I don't have any meal plans. I don't have any, I'm not doing anything extra. If I'm eating and it's feast day, whatever feels natural for me that day is what I'll eat. Sometimes I'll have like a whole meal with like potatoes and veggies and meat and everything on my plate at 9 a.m. in the morning, because that's how I feel that day. Sometimes I'll make a fancy little breakfast with like eggs and sausage and whatever else, and I'll eat at like 12. It really just depends on how I feel. And I'm now kind of eating on my feast days intuitively, which I did before, but more so even now. When I first started my journey, I would be so hungry the next day after a fast. I would be starving, and I would have a list of all the things that I'm going to eat this day. And nowadays, I've eaten on a Saturday after fasting on Friday at 4 p.m. I waited all day until 4 p.m. to have my first meal because I was running errands, I was busy, I just didn't get hungry. So why am I gonna eat if I'm not hungry, right? So recently I've been following more so of my body's cues than eating on a timed schedule like breakfast, lunch, dinner. I don't even really eat breakfast anymore. I typically eat 2 times a day now. I have lunch and dinner, and then I'll snack in between. And yeah, again, not on a schedule, not on a meal plan, not counting anything, not tracking anything. I just know if I wake up, it's fasting or it's feasting. Those are my 2 things. Really easy and really simple. So recently with my coffee, I actually came to a point where I wasn't drinking any coffee at all because I started doing dry fasts, which that lasted me just a few weeks. And then I realized dry fasting wasn't for me, and I made a video about that if you want to check that out. But after going like a couple of months without drinking coffee, at all, I'm now starting to get myself back into drinking coffee again because honestly, I really miss the taste of coffee. I miss the taste of a nice cup of coffee in the morning, whether it's iced, whether it's a hot cup of coffee. So I'm slowly trying to get myself into drinking coffee again, but I can't just have a cup of coffee because I'll get massive headaches. But yeah, that's what I'm doing on my fast days now. I just drink water, I drink coffee, and that's it. My feast days, I eat however I feel. I eat intuitively. I eat junk food. I eat chips. I can eat a bag of chips, a big bag of chips, like a party-sized bag of chips if I'm in the mood. I really can. I try not to, but I can if I wanted to. But I give myself allowance to just eat however I want because tomorrow I'm not going to be eating. So finally, the last thing is, am I exercising? I have not exercised at all on this journey of mine. I have tried several times to do some at-home workouts, but those I always start very motivated and I do it for a few days, and then that motivation fizzles out real quick. So I think I'm gonna have to go not based off of motivation, but go based off of this is my routine. Just like with ADF, I'm no longer doing it for motivation purposes. It's just what it is. Today's a fast day. It's not because I don't feel motivated to do it. It's just what I do, right? That's kind of how I look at it. It's either I'm fasting or I'm not. And nowadays it's not more so about motivation, but about routine. So I think with the gym and with working out, I'm going to have to do the same thing where it's not more so motivational based, but it's routine based. And I think maybe I can be successful, but we'll see. So that's been my journey with ADF. I have lost 45 pounds. Never thought that I would get here. Never in a million years did I think that a year from when I started, I would have lost this much weight. But here we are. My goal is to lose 55 pounds, so I'm 10 pounds away from my goal. So I'm gonna continue fasting on my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. I don't know what it's going to look like once I hit my goal weight. I don't really know. I haven't really planned that far ahead. But I do think that in some way or form, I will continue fasting. So that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down below. If you have any suggestions as well for anyone else who might be watching and needs clarification on something or is looking for an alternative opinion, please leave them down below. I really appreciate us having a community on here. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching.